Kia ora. Welcome to Neat and Not by the Sea. This is a Flosstube Extra mini quilts, and my name is Catherine, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, my name's Fiona and my pronouns she, her.
Okay, so this is this is the second of our monthly series that comes 4 months after.
Gotta keep everyone in suspense.
That's right. So for those of you that are watching for the first time, this is part of a challenge that Fiona and I are doing with a few other friends, and it's a mini quilt every month. And we'd already published what the prompts were, so we've been going. We've done 5 months. Not everybody has finished the 5th month. We have though. Those are like top students. So shall we start showing?
We'll start at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, do I don't even remember what the beginning. Oh, these are the beginning, right?
Log cabin.
Log cabin.
Log cabin. So that soft cuts of vintage doilies and things.
That was such a good idea. I'm gonna steal that idea. Okay, so this is the one where I just went a bit. I did a Catherine. Apparently, we've now coined a phrase. Fiona has coined a phrase. I did a Catherine. So I did 1, and then I did 2. I love the backs. Did you show your back?
No.
Show your back.
That's not it. Mine was a pillowcase. It's a
it's
pillowcase that I
gorgeous.
found in an op shop.
It's gorgeous.
So I used it.
And we're trying to. Do you have friends that are like beginner knitters and they're overexcited and message you?
No, actually.
Anyway, that was just a message from another friend. So this is the front, this is the back. And it's such a lovely thing because even if you have a small amount, you can use it.
I love it green.
We both love this green.
Every time I go into an op shop, I'm looking for a quilt cover of that green.
I know. And in fact, tomorrow I am going to go to that op shop and try and buy that sheet again.
Oh,
I can't believe I just bought one. What's wrong with me? Anyway, we both love this. And so Fiona and I do a cool thing now where we share what we find. And it's mostly like a self-preservation thing because we go up shopping a lot. Fiona goes more. Well, Fiona's more successful than me out shopping.
Sometimes you get it's too much of something that you found. It's
exactly
beautiful, so you need to share it.
We don't share the super precious things. Have I shown them? See, I love this. This was a shirt, a blouse. I just got a bit carried away. Like more of that gorgeous green. Yeah, and I just love piecing backs because then you get to showcase. You get to showcase fabrics you love.
Come up nice and close to the screen to see these ones.
I got so carried away, and in fact, I've given one away. I gave it to my daughter-in-law. I found a jade bangle for her.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
good.
when I say I found,
now.
no, keep looking. I'll show you the color of the one I found. I'd like to find you a slightly darker one. But anyway, it's always in the back of my mind, a lifeless thing. But I put one of these quilties in her little package.
Nice idea.
Martin is great. He's been so great this week because he's been doing deliveries for me.
And funny, I've had John doing the same.
Yeah, it's so great. I said to her, "Oh, did she say anything about the little quilty?" She said, "Oh, she was really confused because she thought it was a pouch and she couldn't quite find the opening." I said, "No, it was just a quilt."
You can do some more now.
But then I thought, this is a nice little surprise. Yeah, I know. I thought this is a nice little surprise. Like you can just put, because these are supposed to be necklaces now. I've decided, but am I gonna? No. Well, maybe, but not this year. Okay, what comes next? Can you remember? Applique. Right, off you go.
Okay, so that was my one, inspired from the quilt fall. Lovely quilter, whose name I can't remember.
From what country?
Mary Jane. Mary Jane is her name, Australian.
Oh my goodness, that vintage quilt, that antique quilt. There's a couple.
One with a green background and one with a blue background. And this was kind of a block on one of her quilts.
I think you did this one in Invercargill as well. You had challenges with fabric as well.
Yeah, I did.
You'd only brought so much or something.
Plain green.
I think you'd actually op-shop that and you used it.
Yeah, a souvenirs or something.
That's a gorgeous green as well. It's like the vintage. and you've used the
Yeah, because
kisses.
the first one I did when I was overseas, and the second one when I was in
Well,
yeah.
oh, you were in Australia.
Australia.
Yeah. So the applique, it is inspired by a quilt I saw, but it turned out to not. Well, it is a quilt, but it was a printed fabric. I didn't realize. So I thought, oh, I'd love to have that in my collection. So I made one. I'm happy with the back because this back is the back of some of the back of my friend Sally's quilt.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So I like it when things
Yeah,
get mixed like that. What comes next?
Suffolk puffs.
Oh,
So they were mine, and I think they were done. Oh, yeah, they were done in Invercargill too. In Invercargill, but
yours is lovely.
Quilted around them. Stitched around them using some quite thick embroidery thread that I found in an op shop.
Yeah, and it's not pearl cotton; it's a completely different sort of embroidery thread, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much thicker. Yeah, it's nice to use though.
Yeah.
My one.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're about to see,
Right.
I described as the ugliest quilts I've ever made.
They're not.
But I'm happy with that. Like, I'm really happy with. I'll say, we had a lovely coffee the other day, and we were showing each other our quilts with our other friend Anna, who's part of the group. And I was saying, I'm just really glad because I get to tick the boxes without making a king size quilt.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Like, I would hate to have made these and then think, oh God, it's king size and I hate it. Like, I don't hate it. And in fact, I found making the Suffolk puffs so compelling.
Yeah. I've since done
attaching
a wee
them,
basket of them.
Right?
I just sit
Just
down
to
scraps.
But attaching them was not fun.
Yeah. No.
I found the attaching really quite tedious. But the making them, oh my God, it was so Moorish. And I was just playing around, and so I think I did this one first.
Maybe that's why you often see Suffolk puff ones that are all different sorts of fabrics.
Leftovers.
Maybe that was more interesting joining them all together because it was all different fabrics.
Maybe. I didn't do that. See, all one color. But Suffolk puffs are quite traditional, and I found out that they've been around since the 16th century in England. Which I didn't realize. I thought it was much newer. But anyway, I thought such a traditional technique. I'll try and be a bit more modern. So I did exposed, contrasting threads. So I love that effect, and I love that I did the two orange ones in a different color. There's a contrast, but I just don't like the holy effect. But I wanted to make them traditional.
I just wondered how warm it would be. That's what I've always thought when I see the antique Suffolk puff ones. Like,
yeah, but I don't think people ever just put one quilt on their bed.
Decoration too.
Well, I think the
like
aesthetic has value,
yeah.
But they would have had more than one quilt on their beds for sure.
Yeah,
so there was this one. I'm glad I did it. It has got my initials. And I did this one. Once I saw that Fiona was like, I don't have to follow the rules. I was like, oh, I don't have to follow the rules either, apparently. So I did this one. I love the green and I love the orange. I joke when I say the ugly thing. I'm just not going to make another one. Yeah, I'm cured. I could make puffs though. And I tried to make them kind of not center. So can you see that? The nipples here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I was manipulating them so that they were not all center, so they're kind of like pushing the fabric one way and another.
The fabric quite a bit. I've got a couple of antique ones that I bought in a scrap pack of slow stitching stuff like that. Anyway, I was putting on something a couple of days ago, and I thought, oh, this would look cool with wee flowers embroidered around the edges of it. It was so flat and. Yeah. And
I think when you buy the antique ones, they really are flat.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was a breadcrumb, but it's actually my stitching.
Oh,
yeah. I'm often tempted. I mean, part of this is marketing and shopping, but quite often I'm tempted to buy a little piece of antique Suffolk puff quilt, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
But it does look so beautiful.
Lovely. They're just ones I've got so old. They just kind of rip apart and fall apart.
Also, maybe I've never seen them like. You quite often see them sort of displayed, so people will be like, oh, look what I've done. So maybe the holiness of it is not so apparent.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm super pleased that we did that as one of the challenges. What is next?
Next is the pineapple.
Pineapple.
Block.
Yes.
I think that's the one we haven't shown.
Okay.
So,
Oh, have we already shown the Suffolk ones?
I thought so, but
Oh,
maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Pineapple block. So this is my one. I just white that's getting a bit
It's
eerie, but
gorgeous.
I chose to do mine in Liberty.
Which looks
Fabric,
stunning.
fabric. I've got a bag of scraps. So my white is just a piece of old linen.
Nice.
And just
I love that you're using your bits of
just
linen
my bits of
leftovers.
Liberty, and then my back is so just all my piece scraps.
And you machined some of this,
It's
didn't
quite
you?
Nice. Not this one, the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this one was all hand done.
Yeah.
And
It's really stunning.
one block's enough.
I know.
Cured,
We've had
cured
extensive
the
conversations. And they're so good. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
in fact, when you show yours, see, my thing is, I've seen people do all in prints, this side and that side, and it gets blurry.
Yeah.
I really like the contrast of
Yeah.
the print versus the plain. It's so stunning. It's like we know exactly what we're looking at. But this is not humanity's brain friendly. This is more
No.
like, can you see things in 3D? Can you read a map? This is the quote for
That
you.
was, yeah.
I can't read a map.
Getting it started and making sure I was going the right way was the hardest part. But I've done my middle. I see one that was. Well, I've done the middle, the Liberty, but I've seen others done where this bit's been the Liberty and this is the plain
Yeah.
bit, and they looked a bit different.
It looks, yeah. Right. So mine. This is my offering. One of my offerings. I did two, and I love the outcome. It did my head in. I was like, and I watched a few videos on YouTube until I found one where there was a bit of fabric waste,
Right.
because of how they designed it. But I've kept those bits because I'll use them for something else, even though they're tiny, because I am a bit ridiculous. But I also did. Yeah, I can do that. So I did two, and with this one, you'll see that this is in the diamond formation, the center bit, the mustard, but I wanted it as a square formation. So for the next one, I flipped it.
Yeah.
I was just playing around. And so with this one, I could only go this big because I ran out of this fabric, which I think is Liberty, but it was from a blouse that I up-shopped in Dunedin, which I loved. Didn't fit me.
I look around the blouses and can't find anything other than durable t-shirt.
Every so often you find
Flimsy
something
snap.
good. But I also, I have to
looking
say, fair is fair. You find
Yeah.
all the embroidered tablecloths.
Okay.
Let me find
You can
something
find
good.
the sheets and the shirts.
Yeah, I do find good stuff. I think I'm going to go up shopping this afternoon as well. Just because I have to kill time in town, because, one car family. So it just almost broke me. It was just like, oh my God. But then I ran out of fabric and oh, the joy. I was like, I have to stop.
Don't make it any bigger.
Yeah. And I forgot to show, but most of my quilts, I have done little corners for hanging so that you can put a stick there and hang it on your wall. And also, it might look like it, but this mustard is different from that mustard. Completely different fabrics.
Well, I can see it on the camera, but I didn't even notice that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, someone thought it was.
Yeah.
Someone thought it was, but nah. I mean, nobody's inspecting your quilts, are they? And so I'm really happy with this because what I wanted to do is I wanted to see the full pineapple. Can you see a full pineapple here?
Yeah.
And that was kind of my goal.
Yeah.
It's got like a Diné Navajo look to me. You know those Navajo Diné rugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that
That's
sort of
beautiful.
cross-pollination that can happen. This one can only hang like this because I forgot to do the hangers, so I've put a hanger at the back, but it's just a horizontal bit. But that's okay because I like different things. And this, very contrary to Catherine and how she chooses to live her life, is the most synthetic of synthetic fabrics. I think it's probably acetate.
It's dreadful.
It's so bad. But I found it. It was in I think it was the fabric sale here in Waikouaiti.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just
It must be really
stunning. I'll show you. I've got quite a bit. Stunning. I was like, well, I'm never going to make anything. I'm never going to make a blouse or a skirt. I think it was an item of clothing that had been deconstructed.
Yeah.
somewhat. But honestly, you do
It's
not
so
want to
blinding.
stand near flame.
You pick it up and get electric shocks off it.
That's right. But at least it's not going to the landfill now. You know, I
Yeah.
will use it for bits and bobs. So anyway, 2 pineapple quilts. And what's the last thing?
The last one is the
Oh, I forgot. I've got to come
Indian
back.
fabrics.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Declan
So
does
that was
that.
our,
I'll show you mine.
that was like
So
choose your adventure. but
Yeah,
with these
that's
fabrics.
choose your adventure. Catherine gave me these, or gave us all, I think.
Yeah.
The fabrics to do this one. I struggle with this one because I wanted to do justice to the fabric.
She was like,
It's
talk
so
about high bar.
beautiful.
It's got to be the most beautiful thing ever. No pressure.
So once I put them in colour groups and took out a couple that were jarring to me.
Quite
and I
different.
didn't- Yeah,
They were quite
yeah.
different, right?
I was like, right, I'm just going to showcase a bit in the middle. And I looked at quite a few Indian quilts and chintz quilts and things, and they often were quite rectangular and started with a, showcase something in the middle. So it's sort of where
Like a
I got that
medallion.
from.
Yeah.
Often, I think I was looking at ones that had the Tree of Life panel in the middle. So yeah, and I just grouped all these greens together and just randomly. That's where the machining came in.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm not hand doing all these little bits.
Oh, see, I
That's
didn't
kind of-
even realise that they were so narrow.
So your
eye
I just
just
wanted
sort
it
of
to
moved.
read the green. That was all the green. So
And I love that you've
hand
chosen.
did them out to this border and
That's
this
all right.
just a bit of call it soft and stable or something.
Is that a
So
spray?
it's Australian. That's the wadding.
Oh yes, I did you feel that? I was thinking,
Yeah,
what have you got
yeah.
something thin?
Yeah.
I've heard people put a flannel sheet inside as well,
Yeah, that
which
probably
is
do the
very
same,
thin.
actually.
Yeah.
So it's made it like really soft and so that I've pieced the other bits that I got.
I haven't put labels on my
on the
Indian
back,
ones
yeah.
yet.
Beautiful.
Isn't this one gorgeous? I think this might have been. I mean, I lie. Oh, this might be my favorite, and then I see another. I'm like, oh no, this is my favorite.
Colours and this
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
lovely.
Thanks.
Oh, you're
yeah.
welcome. I'll go to India any day to get fabric. It is really funny because if you watch my videos, you'll have heard the saga of going to India and how I found certain things difficult. And one of the things that I found difficult was resisting the urge to buy everything because relatively things were cheap, but there was like a bit of a yuck feeling about what is this? Like you're just coming to a country with cheaper goods and you're just buying everything, but you actually don't need it.
Don't need it. Yeah.
So I ended up buying. They were not pleased with me. I ended up convincing them to give me scraps. So it was, the bolt of fabric at the end, it could be quite uneven. So they had, in the end, they brought out a couple of sacks and they emptied them in front of me. And so I just picked out what I wanted and I said, just give me about 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
And so they would just snip 10 centimeters and tear it. And quite often the grain wasn't straight. So I would end up with a triangle. Yeah. And
actually, one piece you've given me, it's got
the sewing.
It's got the sewing in it.
Yeah.
So, I love that. But the colour
it was very vibrant.
Really vibrant.
But the thing that I realised after was like, I do have some regrets about not buying some stuff in India, but
you can always go back.
But this fabric in particular, I've given it to 3 friends. No, I've given it to 4 friends. I've made too many quilts because I got carried away. You can barely tell that I've used the fabric from the little bag. It's just a little pouch about this big with my Indian fabric. I've put it back in, the leftovers.
Yeah.
There's probably it's pretty full still.
Yeah.
So that's enough. Because I was very aware that lots of quilters will go to India and then I had to ship them out. Like I had to have them courier, and I was like, I don't want to be that person. I just don't need it. Anyway, all that to say, you can't change who you are. Anyway, I got carried away. And again, I used this as a way of doing experiments. So I wanted to see what I liked best. So the pattern here is a little corner that eats out and it's a different color. And I wanted to see it's like the majority of the fabric is the Indian fabric and then a colored neutral. So visually, I find this too much, even though you
It's busy,
really
isn't it?
see it's busy, but you
Mm.
really see the Indian fabric. But
See
at the
the
same
fabric.
time, you can't see the wood for the trees. There's just too much Indian fabric for me. Whilst here, I've done it the other way around, and you've got the coloured neutral is bigger, and it's a bit more relaxing,
And it actually draws your eye to the Indian fabrics on the corner.
and so you can appreciate it without
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
slightly stressed by this.
Yeah.
And so it's been quite interesting to talk to. Like Martin, in the end, preferred this one, although initially he had preferred this one. He'd made a decision before I did the binding, and then when I did the binding, he preferred this one.
Put two together and,
Yeah, and then it was a case of how the binding works as well. So I've got plain binding on one, coloured binding on the other,
yeah.
and also I was trying to keep this shape. You know, I quite like a wonky thing. I was trying to keep the
Yeah, I like
shape.
the way you keep it, like keep the wonk.
Yeah, I like that because I think, oh gosh, every time I see a video, it's like how to cut your quilt straight so that you can bind. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Myself, I've never done that before. It's like fudged.
Yeah, and I just think
Fudged the shape.
the wonk is energy anyway. Catherine's lecture. This is the fabric that came with the tie, that the sewn on thing,
Yeah.
which I love. It's
gorgeous.
like it's like an old botanical
To find
print.
something to do with it.
And I thought, oh, I can put it here because it's not going to do my head in. So anyway, I'm really pleased with these, and this is the back of the other one, which again, I love them all. I love this one, so gorgeous. So that was two, and then in the spirit of doing plain things, I thought, what's the difference between having more of the neutral than the Indian print?
Yeah.
So this
So
one has
it's
one
reversing
more
the
square.
order of we use.
Yeah. Yeah, so this ends up having one more Indian print square. And I think I do prefer the more Indian print square.
Yeah.
And I did use one fabric that I thought was just weird. Oh, this one. See, this one, I even wondered if it was Indian. It was from that sack, but
Yeah,
obviously made
Yeah, I
for
think
different
it was one I put to the
specifications.
side too, 'cause I just
Yeah.
it wasn't working.
Yeah. And then again with a plaid. So this is denim, a very soft denim.
Soft, yeah.
So I did the binding in the soft denim, and I did the coloured binding, and I prefer the soft denim.
John's latest shirt throw out was too soft in
Shirts. Well, yes, Freudian slip, two quilts.
They might be a quilt.
Yeah. And then I've done.
I love those.
I did go a little bit crazy. So my sister lives in the Isle of Man now, and I'm going to Europe, and I'm going to be staying with her, and seeing where she lives now. And so I decided to make two little Isle of Man quilts, and you'll know that it's a different technique. So if you Google it, you'll see how different a technique it is. So I coupled the Indian fabrics with my hand-dyed linens.
They just like sit together so nicely.
Yeah, I'm really happy with these, and I thought it'd be really cute. I'm quite close to my sister. She's quite like me, only she has no time to have the life that I have. She works much longer hours than I do, and she's always traveling for work. So
Google the Manx. It's a Manx block, isn't it?
yeah. Manx quilt. Yeah.
There's a couple of good tutorials on YouTube about how to do it.
Yeah. So there's only two layers to Manx quilt. That's the base layer, which is why you see the quilting on the back. It's just, I love it. And of course I had made the other one with all my dyed fabrics, and I gave it away.
It's a really kind of meditative sort of way to stitch.
Yeah. Well, any hand stitching is quite meditative, unless it's a pineapple quilt, in which it's nobody's meditating. We're just getting through.
Once you've done one, you need the meditation.
That's right. So the next one is about Baltimore quilt. And I've already done my printing and enlarging. I've picked a pattern, which maybe some people will say is not very Baltimore-y, but it is inspired by a Baltimore quilt in the American Museum in Bath, in England.
Oh, okay.
That I have.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. So, okay, so now...
I've picked my blocks and
blocks?
got them sorted.
How many are you going to do?
And there's a lot of work in them when you look at them, isn't it? Right, remember I said I was going off piece.
Okay. Are you going to make a larger one?
I'm not telling you until I've done it.
Okay. be like that then.
Just in case it doesn't quite end up where
That's
it's
right.
going.
Best laid plans. I was like, I just took a photo and I printed it on fabric. I couldn't be bothered.
And I'll take it when we go to Australia.
Oh, nice.
I'll take it and do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like me.
So
That's why
that's
I'm kind of getting ready, because I need to take fabric and my needle
Yeah,
and my
needle.
thing for my
Yeah.
European trip.
Could you take 2 needles?
Because
Just in case you lose one.
I mean,
Please
I am
take
a
2 needles.
very minimalist traveler. Generally, I bring back things, and it is a yarny trip, so I'm going to buy yarn. But I'm hoping to find yarn in the second-hand shops in Denmark and Sweden. I'm very excited about that.
Exciting.
Yes. I've been telling Fiona what I'm going to do, and Fiona, with her good memory, said, you were quite frustrated in India that you didn't have a craft project, Catherine."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to take 2 projects. I'm going to take my Baltimore mini quilt, and I'm going to start. I must start it here because it's always hard to start. The thinking for starting is annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
That's why I
start.
did mine.
Yeah, so I'm going to start a red work, like a Bristol sampler, like an alphabet in red work. I'm quite tempted to only take 1 strand of thread, because then if I run out, it will be a different red, which is fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, so just 2 things.
1 skein of thread.
Yeah, just
So
take 1
if you run
skein
out,
of
you find one.
different color.
Yeah,
a different
colour,
red.
Different red.
Yeah. I need to. I try to find reading time on holiday. That's why I only want to take 2 minutes. Okay, so this ends the mini quilt situation. But Fiona has something to show us, because Fiona's prepping to do a video, like at some point in the future. So this is like good practice for her.
There's pressure. No,
There is no pressure. I think I told them last
I'm
time.
just trying to find the head space.
Yeah.
Breathing space.
So that this is the
To
Fiona
do it.
segment now, because she's got things to show us that are not mini quilts.
No, but they're mini.
Yeah, they're mini. Yeah. Oh my god, I love that.
So Catherine sent me a video by a lady, Emma, I think, deep rooted healing, I think, on YouTube.
Yes.
And she'd done a fabulous video of her meditation stitch books that she makes. And I was like, oh, I can make them out of the leftover linens from cutting up doilies. But they all have such beautiful stitching on the edges, and
oh my god, I love that one.
This one.
That's a napkin. I recognise that napkin.
It's so tiny, and there's even a piece where that was left on the fabric. Make these into some wee books so I can do. I don't know what in them, bit of collage or.
See,
that one had the running stitch already left on the linen, so I had to do.
Oh my god, I love that.
I know.
There is one where she actually has used the curves or something.
Mustard. Yeah.
I love that. This so far my fave, because of the content. But I love that you've just left it as you had cut it.
Yeah. This one already had a hole in the linen. So on the piece.
Oh, love it.
So on the piece underneath, it's a really tiny little forget-me-not.
Oh, show me then.
So
show me.
Through.
Yeah.
So that through the
you
hole,
just
you can just peek through to the
Lovely.
forget-me-not.
Gorgeous.
But sometimes you just want to sit down and do a bit of running stitch.
Yes. I think that's why I became obsessed with this last the quilted thing, because everything was just running stitch.
Just running stitch. Yeah. It's had a nice.
See, what I don't know. Oh, I love this. Oh, look at that. What I don't know. So I made a meditation book maybe 7 years ago. It didn't end well.
What were you doing in it?
Well, see, I made this entire book, but it's actually quite big. It's like this big.
Oh, okay.
So maybe 45 or 50 square centimeters.
That's huge. I find that quite intimidating to like where to start, what to do.
Well, the idea was that I would then fill it with like thoughts and things.
Yeah.
But that's where it went badly.
Yeah.
But it also is cumbersome. Like I have a tiny house and a tiny studio, so I'm not going to have a table to have it on display, you know. So I kind of think about it, but at the same time, the other end of the equation, I just think, yeah, but what do they do? They don't have to do anything, but this is how my head works. Like, okay, so now I have this. So what? If I call them needle minders, like needle books, then is that okay? Because otherwise it feels like am I gonna have a bowl with these? Is this it? Is this the goal?
Have a wee stack. It's all about, you know, sometimes you sort of, I see little bits of fabric that I've cut off something and I thought, oh, I don't want to throw that away. That's got such a pretty flower on it. Maybe it's just my brain that like that, but
I've got a whole.
It's like, oh, now I could put it somewhere.
Yes.
I could keep it. Maybe it's just makers that have that sort of feeling towards something where you've got.
We do get attached to fabrics,
and
bits of thread.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'll be using a piece of thread, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to throw that out. But if I put it somewhere, I'll end up with a bowl of things, and I probably won't get it out to use it. But if it was already in my needle, and I could do a running stitch around a piece of fabric and something. So
I think I just had an idea.
But go and have a look at her video of her books. They're beautiful.
Yeah, maybe we'll try and remember to put a link in there.
Yeah.
And she's got another one about woven found objects. So good. Because you know there was this whole craze. I'll call it a craze of crocheting stones.
I don't know what you mean.
I never got around to crocheting a stone, but there was like a whole thing, like everybody was doing this. It's that sort of idea, but she does it with found objects, and it's woven, and it's more wonky. She's all about the wonk, which I totally appreciate. But I've just thought I was reading my book on black quilters, and a very famous black American writer. Something Sula, and I can't remember if I was reading it this morning whilst having my first coffee. Either she's called Sula or her book was called Sula. Anyway, she had this phrase, and it said, "Love is a bed quilt." And I thought, you could embroider phrases. Yeah, and I did think I would use that one for my friend's quilt. I'm going to put that on the label. That'll make her uncomfortable. I tell my friend I love her, and she gets uncomfortable. It's all right. Anyway, so I might, I only showed her like 2 days ago.
In fact, I sat down yesterday afternoon for about an hour and did them, so they're fast. You can make them.
Oh, and I've got
such good use for all these wee scraps that I keep in a bowl.
Because we've got since we've been doing this quilting situation, I've got 4 sacks. Like 4 shopping bags. Those fabric ones. And 1 full one is leftover plain linens from what I've cut out. So anyway, very gorgeous. I hope this inspires you. I'm going to copy
next time. Something.
Yeah, I'm going to copy. Yeah,
great.
Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope to be back a little bit more regularly, but it's not going to be obviously next month because we're both away. But then after that, maybe regularly. And we hope that it's inspired you to do some stitching, or we've kept you company whilst you've been doing something nice at home. So take care, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.